Welcome to the LifeHack Show. Thank you so much for joining us today. LifeHack was created to help all of us navigate this thing called adulting because we have been bamboozled to believe we should just take the process of adulting under control, when in reality, we are all just trying to make it make sense one day and one moment at a time. I always appreciate the time that you choose to spend with us. Today, we're going to discuss connecting with your higher self. When you want to listen to a particular radio station, you tune your radio to that station, and tuning in to that station kind of puts you in a particular frequency. Same thing as when you want to watch a particular TV show. You tune into the frequency of that show on your television, and that determines what you hear and what you see. I want you to consider that our brains operate in very much the same way, except that we're going to suppose that we only have two stations that we can tune into. The first one's going to be the ego station. The second one's going to be our higher self station. Ego station is the station that's going to originate in our programmed mind, the mind that contains all of our limiting beliefs that helps create all of our fears. The ego station is our wounded self. It's our false self. It's the protected self that we've learned to be as we've been growing up, and that we've needed to find ways to have control over things like getting love, avoiding pain, and feeling safe. Our ego wounded self is a closed circuit in that it operates on old information that we've acquired as we were growing up. It operates on information that is no longer relevant or might not even be true. It's also not open to new information, and it's not open to new truths. The higher self, on the other hand, is the station that's going to tap into that unlimited information from the universe, the information that's beyond the programmed mind. The higher self station is going to tap into the source of truth, and it's going to tap into that truth that's always here to guide us on our highest good. So questions might be, so how do we tune into the frequency of your higher self? How do we tune into the frequency of your higher self station? Well, we've all kind of been given a dial that either tunes us to the low frequency of our ego station or to the higher frequency of our higher self station. And that dial, you guys, is our intent. In following with this particular scenario, we're going to presuppose that we only have two intents to choose from. The first intent is to get love and to avoid pain with some form of controlling behavior. And the second intent is going to be to learn about loving ourselves and others. The intent to have control over getting love and avoiding pain is the one that lowers our frequency, and it's also the one that keeps us stuck in our limited mind and in our ego mind. When we choose this intent and this frequency, we will continue to be stuck. We'll be stuck thinking about the same thoughts, the lies, and taking the unloving actions that continue to create fear, anxiety, depression, guilt, shame, stress, anger, jealousy, resentment, and the like. The ego frequency is the frequency of being a victim. We choose this frequency when we choose the intent to have control over getting love and control over avoiding pain. At any moment, we can choose to change our minds, and we can choose the intent to learn instead. And what we're choosing to learn is about what is our highest good and what is the highest of all for us in this moment and the highest of all for us in relation to others. We can choose to learn about our ego mind rather than stay stuck in it. The moment we choose the intent to learn about love, we're raising our frequency and we're able to access the higher self station. This is like moving out of the limitations of our personal computer and into the internet, but it's only better. While some of the information on the internet is true and some of it's not, all of the information we receive from the higher self station is considered true, and it comes from the source of truth. The only thing that's stopping us from choosing that higher self station is our addiction to control. The ego mind wants to control everything, including the control over our feelings, over other people's feelings, over other people's actions, over our actions, but more importantly, over the outcome of things. When your desire for control is greater than your desire to be loving to yourself and to others, and greater than your desire to live in truth, we're going to remain stuck in the ego station. The ego station tells us that we have control over things that we actually have no control over. We don't have any control over others. We don't have any control over outcomes. While we can have some control over our feelings with various addictions, that only leads us to greater unhappiness. Our feelings are our inner guidance system. They let us know when we are on track or off track in our thinking and in our behavior. And so when we suppress them with addictions, it only leads us to more pain. We end up discovering greater joy when we choose the intent to learn about loving ourselves and others and access that incredible information that's ours when we're tuned into our higher self station. I don't want you to look at this as something you're going to fight with. I want you to recognize when you are tuning into the ego station. If your intent is to control, if your intent is to gain more power, if your intent is to gain more structure, your intent is to gain more understanding about what's happening so that you can then have an effect on the outcome, you're working in that ego station. I want you to just recognize it, and then I want you to make the decision to choose to change and to tune into the higher self station instead. If you need help in this area, of course, I'm going to encourage you to go to therapy. I always say that we should start with therapy or a good coach who can help you work through these things. But if you want to do this on your own or that's not available to you, we also have an academy. And in that academy, we take deeper dives into topics such as these. I'm going to encourage you to check that out using the link in the show notes. It's not free. It's the same price as a fancy coffee, but it will help you drastically improve your success, your goal achievement, and your ability to tune into your higher self station. I hope this helps. I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Welcome to the Life Hack Show. Thank you